Hello everybody, welcome to a new video. It's been a while. I will be talking today about the new advanced header block that Kadence just released. Well, it's actually not just released, it's been a couple of weeks. I think 2 weeks ago they released it. I've played around with it a little bit and it's a really awesome feature. You need to have the Kadence Blocks Pro and the Kadence Blocks Free installed to the latest version. You don't need the Kadence Pro team because it's not part of the Kadence Pro team, it's part of the Kadence Blocks Pro. So that's the only thing you will need if you want to follow along in this video or you want to play with it yourself. I'll put some links in the description below where you can, if you don't have the Kadence Blocks Pro yet, you can buy it through the link if you wanted to. That supports me and you will always get the best available price at the moment. Yeah. So what is it? We can still choose to work. Let me make my screen a little bit big. Okay, now you can see my admin bar. This will be easier to see. So you can still use the customizer. So if we open up this customizer, you will see we still have the same options. The Kadence Theme Pro, as I said, is something different. So this has not changed, but you have an extra option over here. If we enable this block header, then you see we can choose to select a header block. I have not created one at the moment, so there is nothing in here, but then the default header, like we're used to, will disappear and you can choose. So this will also mean you can make different headers, multiple headers, and you can choose one of those headers if you want to. Yeah, but it's still possible to just use every option that we're used to from the past. You can work with these 3 rows, you can work with this desktop and tablet view. So it's still available to do whatever you want, but you now have also the new option. For that we have to go in the backend. We can go to the Kadence option here in the bottom and you will see we have headers and navigations. This is navigaties, this is Dutch, but navigations. So we have the 2 options here. These will be there if you have the Kadence Blocks Pro and if you have updated to the latest version. If we open up my header here, you see now there are no Kadence headers anymore. By the way, I really like this because now everything starts to be grouped over here. So you have your forms, you have your navigations, your headers, your queries, your query cards, and everything can be found here. So it's a more easy way to have everything in one place. It's more useful like this. Okay, so let's add a new one and see how it goes. So we can make it new header for YouTube, let's say. You can add some extra descriptions if you want to. And now you can make if you wanted to, you can have a pre-made simple design that you can use to continue. The cool thing is that you can also really easily make a mobile version or like a hamburger icon also for desktop. That was a little bit more annoying to do on the original one. Now it's really easy to do. And you can also say multiple row ones. So these are all default layouts you could also make with the customizer. Let's say we just import one and see how it looks. This is for mobile then, so layout for tablet or mobile. Let's see, maybe we want this one. And it will import it, and it will be imported like in the Gutenberg editor with the options being over here now. So this is a bit different. We can do the styling and some sticky header enabled. So these options are also in the customizer, but now they are here on the right side for us. Yeah? If we open this up, this helps a bit to have the structure. So we have the whole header we select over here. And we have then, if we open this up, you see we have the header for desktop and we have the header for mobile and we have the off canvas also for mobile and tablet view. If we go to the header tablet mobile, we open this up, we have the different rows, top, middle and bottom, like we're used to in the customizer again, but now it's in a different layout. Header for desktop will be the same thing. We can open this up. We have a left section, a center, a right section, and here you see the different divisions between the rows as well. You can always just click in here as well, and then we have some more options to insert. So if we see we are in our desktop header, we are in the middle row and we are in the center part here where we have site identity, where we the site logo will be imported. I have not set the site logo, so this is showing like a placeholder. And then here we have the specific options if they are available for the specific block. What's the cool thing now? We can always insert blocks from the standard blocks. So if I open this up, so everything that normally would not be available is now available. Like a pictogram, I can add just like this. I can also just add a, let's say I want to insert an image. Let's select a image. I don't know if there are any in here. No, let's open up the Pexels one. Let's download this one and insert it, select it. And now you see it's just like this. It's imported in our header. So this is makes it really easy to do some customizations layout-wise that otherwise would have been quite difficult to do, because you can now actually insert practically every block you can imagine you can insert here. So you can be really creative and make some cool layouts with your header. Let's save this one. Let's just see. We can open the visual builder. I forgot to say this, and this will look familiar. Now you have the same kind of thing we have in the customizer as well, where we have the tablet mobile, we have the off canvas, and we have the one on desktop. If we look here, we have the options and we can scoot this over. So this gives a little bit more structured way of seeing what you are doing at the moment. We have our navigation here, we have another navigation over here, and then we have a button. If we go and open up the navigation, I didn't create one yet, and this is also something new. We have now the Kadence Advanced Navigation. Let me change maybe the language. This will be easier for you guys, I think, to follow along. Let's see if this looks better now. So, what was I doing? If I select my header, open the visual builder, navigation, yeah, now it's in English, so this will be easier to do. So if we open this up and we create a new navigation, I only have one page now, so I'm going to click on add to menu. Let's call this my main menu, for example. And we can say here, desktop orientation as well. Do we want the menu to be horizontal, so like the more default one, or do we want it to be vertical, where it will be like this? Let's say we do it like this, and we create a custom link here. Let's just say for YouTube testing, and just add a thing here, not a real one, done editing. And now you see the layout is actually like this, and they are not horizontal. What is a cool thing about this? We can make a nice, let's say, I'll remove some of this stuff here. We can make a bit more of an advanced or a more cool kind of header by doing this. Let me put this also over here. And let me go to the settings of the row. So I have set this to a single container instead of the header row. Now you see it's a row, so they are next to each other. If I put this to single container, you will see they stack on top of each other. So we have our navigation that I've put to a vertical. You can see it here as well. If I change this to horizontal, they will be next to each other. So I've made it vertical. And now we can add more stuff inside of here. Let me add an image as well. Let me pick this one from before. Select this one. Voila. And let me make this a bit smaller, so it's a bit easier. We can then add maybe add a max width of 200, so it's not too big. And now we can also add a specific link if we wanted to. Let me now just set something that's not actually a link, but just for demo purposes. Just click on save. And now what's the cool thing? If I open a new page, I go to my pages, I add a new page. I'm gonna go to my page settings, and I'm gonna disable my default header that he will import from the customizer. Yeah. And now we're gonna say disable the page title, disable transparent header. Let's make it a full width page, unboxed, and let's bottom only vertical spacing. These things are all stuff I explained and done in different videos, so I'm going a little bit faster now for the demo purposes. Demo page with cool header. What we can do now is add a row layout, for example. Let's make like this one. We set it to, let's say, 25%. Here we add another row layout, and we're going to do the design library and add a hero, something like this, for example. Just for demo purposes, let me paste this one in here, voila. And then on the left side here, what I want to do now is import my specific header I just created. So what can I do? I can search for it, of course, like you're used to, header advanced. So it's actually a block now. That means we can, this is my new header for YouTube that I created, and I can import it over here. So this is now actually allowing me to insert this header block inside of my row layout. So this is something I really like. So this is my main site container, let's say. Let's just call it like this. And then on the left side I will have my header. Let me also say this is my header container. And then here I will have my, let's call it my main section over here. Voila, this is my main section, my header container. And like this we have some kind of a more specific layout you would not have been able to do on the customizer option, because then it would always be on top the default header, like that was the only option. Let me open this up in a new page, and now you see we have our header here on the left side. Let's say we want a fixed like a dashboard like layout where you have like a fixed left side with a navigation menu and some options for a member site or whatever, and then here you have the content. So of course we want this to be bigger, we don't want to have this spacing here, so we have to fix a little bit of stuff here. So we go to the overlying container, open the options, advanced, let's hide this one, let's remove the padding on the top, let's save. This will already help a little bit with my layout. You will see now it sticks to the top. And then we go to our header container. We go to, so direction, I'm not going to change anything. I've already changed it to the vertical orientation inside of the header itself. Let's go to the advanced tab, and then we can say we want to go to structure settings, minimum height. We can set the view H and we set it to 100. So this will allow the block to be minimum of 100. You will still not see a difference now because the background should be changed, and I've maybe should have not used the gray one here. So I'm back to my header. Let me search where the background is coming from. Here it is. So I'm in my header block, the overlying block. Before I have any subdivisions, I have my background. Let's remove it. Let's click on save, and I'm gonna add my background in my header container here. So let me go to style, background color, and let's now pick the same gray as we used to. Or no, it's not the same actually, but just for demo purposes you will see. So I removed this light background that was set inside of the header, and I've replaced it with a background. Let's look at that. So we have a really nice left sidebar like layout. By setting the layout here on my section inside of my site container block, so my row layout, my left column here, and I have set the height to 100. So you see we now have already, this is like the link I set, so you see if I hover over it changes the cursor, but it's not a real link. This is also not a real link, and this goes to my sample page. And now we can, if we want to, so we can go back to my header options here, and we can add some stuff inside of this header. For example, I have let me open the visual builder, it's a little bit more clear to see. So we have our navigation, site identity, and our image. Remember, we've set this to the single container block. This allows for the stacking vertically. Site identity is not set yet, so let me see. In my customizer I will have to do this. Let me go here. Let's go to site identity. Let's add a logo. Go back to pixels. Let's just pick something different for demo purposes. Let's pick this one. My picture is always in the way. Let's click select, crop the image, and now it will be over here because I've already set it in my Kadence Header Block over here. site identity over here. So now it has imported. I would like it to be more on the top side, so I'm going to scoot this over. I use this more because it's visually more structured for me to see what I'm doing, but it's the same thing. You see, if I change it over here, it will also change it over here, because this it's not one or the other. You are always editing in both, but you can choose which one you like more for working purposes. So now it's on top. This would be the logo, this is my navigation, and this is like the image we've put in. We want maybe a little bit more spacing. So now we have some options here. We can go to the advanced tab, we can go to the margin bottom, and we say we want some medium spacing, and we do the same for our navigation. We go to the margin bottom, and we also set some large spacing over here. And now we can refresh our page, and we see we have some more spacing. The only thing he didn't do, I think, is my spacing on the bottom here. Yeah, let's go back and let's add some spacing from my image then, from the top, and see if this works. Yeah, so now it adds some spacing. So we have a sort of header. I know visually it's not really appealing at the moment, but you see what I mean, that we can create some cool kind of headers you just import inside of the existing row layout. So this makes it really cool to make some kind of a membership dashboard where you have a fixed header. And if we click on the sample page, then you should also set it, of course, over here, so they always use the same left side, because now you see it reverts back to the default header. Okay, so what I've done now is, let me open up my page again, is created some kind of a layout like this, and we could add more content over here, and then this will be my header over here. The other thing we could do now is use this same kind of approach, but do it with the sidebar approach. Let me show you what I mean. So if we go to my left sidebar layout, for example, page sidebar, let's say sidebar 1, and then click on save. Open this up in a new page. Now it looks a bit weird because I have a sidebar and my own custom one, so I'm going to remove this one again and make this a one column row layout like this. And we're just going to remove the container section over here, delete, so we only have some content in it. There we go. So we have a sidebar and we have our content. What we can do now is also use the default sidebar functionality of WordPress and use our Kadence elements. Let me show you what I mean. So we go to Appearance, Kadence, and then here we have to enable elements. So I go to Appearance, Kadence, and I scroll down here, and I have to activate hooked elements. This is available also if you have the Kadence Pro team. So for this you will need the Kadence Pro team. Then if we refresh the page, there should be another option, elements. And now I can create a template. And let's call this also my custom header. Like this. And now I can add my header block here. Select the one I've created already. Now I've got the background set up, and let's click on save. Publish, and now, oh, I forgot something, of course. I have to set where I want this template to be imported. Placement, let's say I want to replace my sidebar. And I want to set this on the entire site, for example. And I want to set this for all users visible. Let's click on save and then see. I hope you don't, they are working next door. I hope you don't have too much noise from them. If I go back to my page and I refresh this, voila, you see it has overwritten the default sidebar with my custom sidebar. If we go to our sidebar layout, or here it is. So we can set the width over here. We can say this should be 30%, should be 20%, you can choose. Let me pick 30. Widget spacing, this is not going to do too much because I'm not using the real one, of course. You can here make it sticky. We can use the same background so it overlaps a little bit to be sure. But you see, this is about it we can do for layout purposes. So the thing we can try to do now is make this full width, and I will add some more content so we can see. Let me duplicate this add it again, click on save, refresh the page, and then you see it becomes bigger as long as there is more content, and it stays sticky like this. So that's a bit more cool to see. This spacing, where is this coming from? Workaround is go to the customizer, and go to my general layout. So we have to remove the spacing here, the left-right edge spacing, and we also have to set the content max width to be as high as possible. But if somebody watches on a big screen, more than 2000 pixels, this is still not going to work. Yeah. So if I save this, remove this, go to inspect, and then here I'll increase my screen size. So now we have 1440. We have 2560. You see we have something like this. So we have again the spacing on the left side because my max width has set to be 2000 and it cannot become bigger. We could make some custom CSS. You see here is this is actually fine, but then from here we have the spacing because we have the max width set over here. So if we remove this, then you see it works on however big I make my screen, it will still be working fine. Then we need just to override this with some custom CSS where we select the site container and we say max width 100%, for example, and then it's fixed like that. Okay, so if you want to create a layout like this, you go to the customizer, you set a sidebar, or you do it in the page settings, you select the left or right sidebar, and then we create a new element where we imported our header block, and then we say we're going to overwrite or replace our sidebar. You can say entire site, or I only want this on the front page. So you can do this page specific, of course. It's not always necessary to do this on the entire site. And then you can make the sidebar sticky, like I've done now. And you can also fix the width problem by going to the customizer, general, layout, remove the spacing, set this to a maximum that you can. We can use REM, but we cannot say a percentage, so that's a bit a shame. If I want to increase this even more, you see the bar is maxed out, so if I do 7000, it always defaults back to 9000, it always goes back to 2000, so you cannot increase it more than 2000. So a way would be to make some custom CSS, so this works for bigger screen sizes as well, where we overwrite our site container and make it so it's 100% all the time. Then it's better to also set a max width for our sidebar, because now it's a percentage. And the percentage means that if the screen size becomes bigger, this is also increasing until it's not looking nice anymore. So then it would also be better to set a specific sidebar width, 30% or 200 pixels or 500 pixels, whatever comes first. That's also something we can add with custom CSS. If you want some more in-depth details, I hope this was helpful. You've seen a bit of stuff, more non-standard approach to create a custom header now. Anyways, thank you for watching and see you in the next one.